This sounds like a lie, but this is the God's honest truth. I had zero idea it was see-through. I was like, guys, look at photos now and go, I turned up at the Grammys in that. I mean, you can see my vagina, you can see my tits. It's like, Jesus, what was I thinking? I was just fixated on the fact that I thought it was really smart to advertise our record on the Grammy red carpet, because I think we knew that we were never going to end up on the red carpet again, you know, with Album of the Year. So I had no idea. Anyway, so if you want to have a look at my beautiful, lovely young tits.
It was a striking dress, and I remember Duke and Steve and I, we didn't want to question her fashion choices. You know, it's like she's wearing that dress.
Nobody mentioned it to me. Not one person said, Shirley, you might want to put on a flesh-coloured bra. And we went along and sat in the front row with Madonna, Shania Twain. Who else was up there for? It was like massive.
Lauryn Hill.
Yeah. And there was one other one that was massive. Like these massive stars, and then us, you know, sitting in the front row. It was ridiculous. I was seated next to Lauryn Hill, and she was sitting there with her Bible. It was like, this is crazy. And she won with her magnificent record. So I'll never forget that experience. But just to have gotten to that point in our career so quickly was really an extraordinary, bizarre moment where the underdog suddenly found themselves sniffing around the studs. We spent $200,000 in our local pub at the Café Montmartre over the course of making our record, which is more money than we spent on the making of the record by a long shot, by a huge margin. $200,000 on booze. Sweet booze.
It was a hell of a party.
They used to go into the bar and just put their credit card behind the bar, and then everybody would be like ordering drinks. And me, being a canny Scot, would always be like, you need to get your credit card back. This is outrageous. But that's kind of how they are.
One of the reasons we went out a lot is we were trying to figure out what we were going to do on the second record. And we hit a lot of days where we had writer's block, or just we would try, Duke and Steve would try guitars, Shirley would work on a lyric thing, I'd work on some beat or some noise thing, and they just, we just weren't that into it. We go, well, what should we do?
Let's go to the bar.
Let's go to the Café Montmartre and have a cocktail. And like Shirley said, we would go down there, well, let's have a glass of wine and then go back and carry on what we were doing. And we'd run into a couple of friends. They'd call some friends. And all of a sudden, there's 30 or 40 people on our posse.
On our tab.
And it got pretty crazy. But the work did get done. It did
eventually.
Get done. Yeah.
Well, the title version 2.0 wasn't meant as a joke. We thought it would be kind of clever. It looks dumb now, but at the time we thought it would be really smart as a way of acknowledging how much technology was playing a role in modern music and modern production. Our second record was, I think, one of the first albums to be entirely recorded digitally.
In Pro Tools, yeah.
Yeah.
Our engineer, Billy, got us a brand new Pro Tools system. At one point, some of the songs had over 200 tracks, and part of that was just because you can keep recording ideas. I have another idea for a weird noise part, or Duke would go, I've got another guitar riff idea, and Steve would play, and they would work on it like a verse or a chorus and put it on auto loop and just keep playing, and an hour would go by and they would record like track after track after track, and then somebody's got to go through that and figure it out and edit it, figure out what the best bits are. You know what? Let's go to the Café Montmartre and have a drink first, then we'll come back and check into it. It was a learning curve for us, though, because the technology gave us new ways to sort of just inject ideas into the music that hadn't been possible before. And we've always been a techie band. We dove in, man. It was a learning curve, but it was a good learning curve.
I think by the time we went into making version 2.0, we were all really comfortable with one another. The arranged marriage part of it had sort of been forgotten about. And it was, as I remember it, it was a phenomenally happy sort of recording experience for the most part. We all got along and we were all feeling really good about ourselves because we'd had an incredible experience, and we had phenomenal support from Christopher Bach and Pro Tools people. We had our record label, you know, our publishers. Everybody was there to enjoy the party.
The start of the record was really interesting because we went up to Friday Harbor for a month, and we had a house that we stayed in. A friend of ours let us use it. It was right on the ocean, and our engineer Billy got all our gear up there. And for a month, we just sat around and would open up a bottle of wine and let's jam and see what kind of comes out of it. And that was really the first time we'd ever done anything like that. That was fun. It was absolutely gorgeous, and we were really isolated. There was nothing to do there really except stare at the ocean, then go into the guest house and record all day long. And it was a really cool way to start the album.
Well, Push It is also one of our favourite videos, if not the favourite of the band. I mean, it's spectacular, and it cost a fortune, and we don't regret a dime of it. But at the time of making that video, we had settled on a budget, which I think was $500,000, which was a phenomenal amount of money. But we had received this incredible storyboard from Andrea Giacobbe, the director, and it was such a perfect vision that we realised it smoked every other storyboard we'd received, and we were determined to make this video. The night before we went in to shoot it, we got a call from his producer saying, "I'm sorry, but the budget has escalated somewhat. It will now cost $750,000. And we were like caught between a rock and a hard place because we were due to shoot it the following day. And our management came in and our record company were like, "We want you to make this video." Well, of course they did, because we ended up paying for it. But we were like, okay, we'll cough up. So it was $750,000. God bless the 90s. People were making videos for a lot more than that, as it turns out. But yeah, we went in and shot that over the course of 3 days, I think, with Andrea. Every single scene is in reference to his own childhood. And he did an absolutely incredible job. And it's a spectacular video that you can still holds up, you know, with videos that are being made today. And we're very proud of it. And when it was nominated for MTV Video of the Year, we were convinced we were going to win it just because it deserved to win. But of course it didn't. No diss to anybody, but we just thought that it was really unique, a unique vision, and that's all Andrea. I wish we could take credit for that, but we can't.
Yeah, the video for Push It really set the tone for version 2.0, because the video got airplay all over the world, and we embarked on a 22-month worldwide tour and found that we had an audience in like countries that we never expected to even go to before. And everybody, when we would play Push It every night, people would go nuts. It was like that song really got its tentacles out into the music world, and it really helped define us on that second record.
Right towards the end of touring with version 2.0, we were in London, and I think I got a call from David Arnold, who was the composer for the Bond franchise at the time. And he said, "How would you feel about singing the next Bond theme?" I was like, what? What are you talking about? And that's kind of how it began. And then we got the band involved, and it was a spectacular honour. It was also a spectacular pain in the arse. Is that fair to say?
It was a super pain in the arse, yeah. We worked really hard on trying to get the music to sound like garbage, but have a vibe of that we tried to capture from the James Bond films. And part of that was even sort of referencing some of John Barry's old soundtracks. But anyway, we finished the song, and we were really excited. And we went to the screening, or we attempted to go to the screening, and our flight got canceled in Pittsburgh. We were playing somewhere on the East Coast, and they were flying us to L.A. It was a bummer, so we realized we couldn't make it. So we went back
to a commercial cinema to watch it on our own, and we got our hopes and joys squashed, right? Because the theme comes on, and we're really excited, and we're sitting on the edge of our seats like, oh my God, we've just done a Bond theme. And they had completely screwed with all the stems of the mix, and it sounded completely different, and we just sort of we were like deflated balloons, weren't we, sitting in our seats? We'd gone from like primed and awake to like slumped and depressed.
Yeah, it didn't sound anything like the mix that we had sent in. They kind of took out all the things that sounded like garbage and left the strings and left the strings in Shirley's voice.
Really so sad.
And still, I mean, the song is great, and it turned out great. It was really cool to be part of it, man. In the theater, we're like, that doesn't even quite sound like us on the screen, but
we got over it.
We got over it. We had no control over that, and anyone who works in Hollywood,
will tell you the same story. I mean, that's just part and parcel of working with huge movie productions, but we didn't know this. It was our first taste of getting rogered.
Yeah.